Hey, what's going on?
Hey, I can hear you now.
All right. How's it going?
Going well, man. How you
How you
doing?
been? I'm doing good. How you been?
Hey, surviving, brother.
So you just put out I got Spotify, right?
Yeah,
And I noticed you put out the TekForce for Dummies.
yeah. That was released. God, January, December.
Like
Yeah.
what is that? It's like just a whole bunch of mix of old songs.
Uh huh. So it's a
Okay.
compilation of the old songs, and I think I got Move on there too. So it's been like the first two albums is basically a mix of DJ Kwan's favorite tracks from those albums.
Okay.
Should I say? Yeah,
So he
yeah.
went and redid the remixes for those, the ones that he
Well,
liked the best.
yeah, he just mixed in the tracks he wanted. I didn't say, hey, do these, and that. He just told me he was putting it together and then put it together. And I said, okay, cool. And then we put it on Spotify and everywhere else, man.
That's cool. Yeah, I really dug it. I
Thank
didn't
you,
know
man.
what I was actually expecting like a new CD because I just saw that it was new on there, and I
Yeah,
hit just add to my queue and just let it play. And I'm
it's like
like,
a
wait a
greatest
minute,
hits. Yeah.
yeah. And then I'm like, wait a minute, these sound a little different.
Yeah, man. It's well, so I'm still working. I mean, we can, if you want to, we can talk about it when are we actually recording now, or
Yeah,
oh, we are? Okay.
yeah.
Because I didn't know he was recording. I thought you were going to be like, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. But you just,
Oh no, I do a separate intro, recorded intro.
okay. Gotcha. So I'm working on the Child of the 80s album right now. Or should I say I have been. I think I've kind of slowed down on it ever since the, you know, pandemic happened. And
Right.
it just kind of slowed down everything, man. So I've just been concentrating on work and school for the most part. However, I'm about 5 to 6 tracks deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope within the next, as soon as I take my test at the end of next month, I'm going to go like full fledged into the album
Right.
and get it mixed and mastered. I'll try to release it before the end of the year, but if not, it'll be like the first of next year that'll be released.
Okay. Well, what kind of vibe is it going for compared to the others?
Um, so Child of the '80s, man, is essentially that I wanted to do an album that had like real simple sensibilities and
Okay.
that used a lot of '80s sounding tracks. So a little bit of synth wave, a little bit of boom bap, a little bit of some Planet Rock mixed in and stuff like
Okay.
that. Just kind of that '80s feel because I wanted to show people where I came from and what
Right.
I grew up on. I'm old now, but
Both are.
so we grew up in a different time, and the '80s for me was a great. There was a time I was raised as a child, so this influences from the TV shows I watched to just different musical styles. So I wanted to compile that into a project, man. And so far, the project it's exactly where I wanted to be. Like I'm sure you've heard "Move."
If it was on that one, I probably heard it.
So
Yeah.
"Move" is produced by Michael J. Pena. He basically delved into that '80s kind of Planet Rock, African Bambaataa sound, and then devised it. And I just kind of wrote around it with my manager, best friend, brother Lewis Gray, aka T Rex, and we just got on the beat and pretended like we were popping and locking and breakdancing, and it ended up working right, man. So I'm happy with that track, and I got new singles coming out, but I kind of just been taking my time, but I'm excited about the project. I think people will see kind of a different kind of TekForce
Uh-huh.
and growth in a different direction. So
So it's called
yeah,
Child of the 80s, and you got a
yeah.
Tron poster in the background. Okay. Is there going to be a Tron track? And and Light Cycle Entertainment's your thing. So
That's my company.
There's gotta be a Tron track.
Well, no, but I have a Tron album. Have you heard it?
I haven't heard that one.
Okay, so the Bits and Bytes EP came out 3 years ago, and that's got 3 or 4 Tron tracks on it. Yeah, I've already done like a Tron album,
Okay.
esque album. It's on Spotify. So if you look me
I
up,
don't remember seeing it on there.
yeah, the Bits and Bytes EP is on there.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to relook at it then, because I remember the one with Oda Retro, Crash Course, Crash Server,
Server Crash Part 1.
right? And
There'll be a part 2. There'll be a part 2 that's happening. It's 5 years in the making. So Server Crash is kind of like my real in-depth into who I am project. I've already done songs for that. Like, I'm thinking ahead, but
Right.
it's going to be the same vein, man, talking about life and talking about, happiness and pain and all the stuff we go through as people. And I'm so blessed to be an artist, to be able to convey how I feel in different moments in my life in the music.
One of the tracks on one of your old ones, it was called Interstellar Renovators. Is that how you say it?
With JC. Yeah. And Interstellar Renovators. Yeah.
That's kind of like today.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's how old?
God, in 2 months it'll be 5 years old.
Never thought you'd be telling the future, huh?
Yeah, man. It's really crazy, because the way music is now it's way different, man. And it's so funny because people have said, Tech, you need to start doing more trap. And there's a way to do it. And I'm going to probably include some on not this album, Child of the 80s, but the other one, but I'm going to do it in my way. So not to knock on trap, I just think the content of music is it's diminished so far. Like, nobody's talking about nothing real,
I mean, that whole talking about something real in rap has gone out the window in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, they stopped that kind of like when Tupac died. Snoop Dogg slowly came out of it, and he even stopped pretty much rapping, kind of. I mean, and the ones that do are like Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, and they don't drop a CD but once every 6-10 years,
maybe, if that.
Yeah,
because I heard Cube's last project was dope. The one he released recently.
Yeah,
I heard it's fire. Yeah, I heard it's. I need to go check it out, because, man, I was a Cube fan back, of course, when he was in NWA, man. And when he went out on his own, he just did like this.
Oh yeah.
And then he kept jumping. He went from this and into films and having his own production company. And he's been strength to strength, man. In Hollywood forever.
There was one thing to where I was gonna say a quote he talked about, because somebody had made fun of him about riding a horse and Are We There Yet? About being a gangster riding a horse.
Right.
And I can't even remember what he said, but he just shut him down. He was like, hey, I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm making a movie. So what? What are you doing?
Right. They paid me a lot of money to do this.
It was pretty much something like that,
Right.
I don't remember the exact quote, but I was like, yeah, I mean, so what? It's a movie.
Well, also, we have to look at it. How long you going to talk about the same shit you talked about when you were 15, 17, 19, 20 years old? Now, does that mean you stop talking about injustices for Black folks in America? No. What that means is that man has children, maybe grandchildren now. His son is acting. O'Shea Jr. is acting now, and that man's great. Like 24, 25. He's a good actor.
Hell yeah, he is.
He's a good, already. He's a good actor. He's gonna make a nice career for himself. But at the same time, man, maybe he want to do something for kids, and ain't nothing wrong with that,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's like,
he even made a song on raw footage.
Man.
He made a song on raw footage called "Hood Mentality." Have you heard that?
I haven't heard it.
It's talking about, I think it's pretty much how you gonna change your reality if you don't get out of that hood mentality.
So
exactly,
there's a truth to that statement, and I think that's anybody who has got out of the hood and made some of themselves have thought the same way. Because are you going to hang on to, yes, I'm Black, up in the hood, and I got all these surroundings, or are you going to try to change your surroundings? Because only you can do that.
Right.
You're limited by what you think about yourself. And
exactly.
Can't nobody make those changes. Now, if you're a child, then you need people around you to help and mold you into the person you need to be. When you're a grown ass man, then you should know, like, hey, this is how I need to change. I'm sick of what I'm seeing around me. And it doesn't necessarily have to be hood. Hell, I live in a suburban neighbor. I grew up in a suburban neighborhood. I didn't grow up, my story wasn't in the hood. My parents' story was in the hood. They grew up in 5th Ward and 3rd Ward, Houston, which, if you've ever listened to the Ghetto Boys or anybody like that, you know how that area was. And they grew up in the 60s where, you know, I wouldn't say it was as bad as it was in the 80s and 90s with guns and all that, but it still wasn't place you could. It wasn't great.
Right.
However, my father, when I was 5 with my mom, he wanted to get us out the hood because he didn't want that same life for us. So he moved us down to Grand Prairie, and he worked for this company LTV, which later became, I think, Vaught. I can't remember the name of it, but then it came Hughes. So my pops came down and got a great job and changed the trajectory of what could have been our life.
Right.
So did I grow up rich? No, but hell, I never wanted for nothing. Because they taught me that, you know what I'm saying? So
I mean, you don't have to be rich to enjoy life and get the best out of it.
Right.
You know,
absolutely.
Rich just gets you things and toys. It
does.
And possessions. That's all it gets you.
That's right, man. That's right. Like, so where did you grow up?
I grew up around Rowlett in which is a suburb of Dallas.
Grew up in Rowlett. Okay.
And I mean, it wasn't the greatest of the neighborhoods out there, but I dealt with what I did.
Right.
You know, I wasn't a great kid. I'm not going to lie and say I was. I got into some trouble, but I didn't get caught. I mean,
well, that's something.
Exactly. And I was grateful because, I mean, some of the stuff that I did, if I would have got caught, could have ruined my life. Like, I used to break into houses. I mean, I even caught a tree house on fire that almost caught a neighborhood on fire.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean,
that's crazy.
I think I was even in middle school when that happened.
Yeah.
And I was smoking cigarettes and dropped the lighter on a couch that we had at our treehouse. Then it caught fire. Then I flipped it over and it ended up making this type of thing, which was a tunnel. And it just went up.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So as soon as it went up, we just started running and knocking on doors. Fire, 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 fire. And then when they got there, we said, it was 2 redheaded kids. They went that way. I don't think they believed us. Right. I think they knew it was us, but they're like, okay, I think they learned their lesson.
Right. Yeah, I mean, setting a treehouse on fire, you kind of had a die-hard treehouse moment. We jumped out and did a slow leap.
Man, it was crazy. And the funny thing is, it didn't even become kind of like a little landmark out in Rowlett.
Really?
Yeah. Because so when it burned,
contributed to the historical society around
I don't think it's there anymore. I think it got built over now.
Okay.
But yeah, it was there for the longest time, and like kids years later knew knew it as Devil's Triangle. I'm like, that was me.
The devil had no part of it.
Exactly.
It was not 100% me.
But I mean,
That's
there's
hilarious.
a lot of things that if I would have got caught with, I mean, there was a time where I was looking at max 55 years when I did get into a little bit of accident up in Maryland.
Man,
I was getting ready to actually move back down here, and I found a BB gun that I hadn't used in 2 years.
Yeah.
Actually, no, 4 years, because I hadn't used it ever since we moved up to Maryland.
Okay.
And so it was me and the only 2 friends I had at the time came down, and like a dumbass, I came down and I didn't even look when I found the CO2 cartridge and popped it into the gun. Cause as far as I know, the last time I used it, I shot all the BBs out of it.
Right.
So when I came down, I just was popping off the CO2 to say, hey, I don't want this. I don't want to take it home. Y'all can have it if you want it. Right. Well, BBs were actually in it.
Oh, shit.
And I shot my friend in the eye.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I flipped out. I took him to the hospital. He wanted me to go get his mom, so I went and got his mom, brought her to the hospital, gave him the keys to my car. They ended up pressing charges on me. I went to jail for the night. And
oh God.
crazy. Yeah.
So he lost his eye.
He lost his eye.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Yeah. Years later, my mom, something was going on, and my mom, something happened. I was like, hey, it should be an eye for an eye. I don't remember what it was. And she looked at me and was like, really? Eye for an eye? I was like, yeah. If I could give my eye to give him back his sight for my fuck up, yeah, I would.
Right.
I mean, that was my fault.
Yeah.
I took full responsibility for it.
Yeah.
So I didn't try to back out of anything. I went to court. I mean, he even tried to put a hit out on me. And when we were when we were in court, the lawyer said, hey, do you want to bring this up? I'm like, you know what? No, I just want to get what I got coming to me. I don't want to try to stink out of something.
Yeah.
So, and then I just ended up getting 5 years unsupervised probation.
Man.
But yeah. So, but I was looking at 55 years max with the charges I was looking at.
So you put a hit out on you?
Yeah. It wasn't a great hit. It was more like a beat you up type hit. Okay. I think that's all he could afford. But because a few years later, after I moved back, I'm hanging out with a couple of new friends, and he's like, wait a minute. I was supposed to kick your ass. Mm-hmm. And then he told me the story. I'm like, holy, yeah, I know that person.
Right.
So what I was told, yeah. So what I was told earlier was actually right.
Wow.
But the funny thing is, the person they tried to hire ended up being my friend.
That's funny how life works, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Man, you got a crazy life story, apparently.
Oh my God. I've got nothing but craziness. Even the story between me and my wife is crazy. How we met and all that. When we first met in 6th grade, she's going to kill me for telling this, but I'm still going to tell it. She's probably going to yell right now in the background. But 6th grade, I was coming around the corner in history class. As soon as I walk in the door, bam, right in the nuts. Don't know why. And remember Z Cavaricci's?
I used to sport them all the time.
Them pointy shoes with the metal tip.
Yeah. Yes.
She kicked me with one of them.
She kicked you with Z Cavaricci's?
Yes.
Dog, that hurts.
I was down.
That's a for real pain.
Yeah, I was down almost the whole class. And it was my football coach's class too. So he was making fun of me.
So why did she do that?
She said she didn't know. She must have liked me at the time.
That's what it was. She didn't know what to do with liking you. That's the same thing they say boys do to little girls. Uh-huh. Like when they tug on their hair and he likes you. She showed that was a horrible way that she showed you that.
Yes. Fast forward to my freshman year, I become friends with her brother without realizing it. I meet him in a class of mine, and we become friends. And he's like, "Hey, you want to come hang over one day after school?" I was like, "Yeah." So I'm coming in through the front door with her brother. She's coming in the back door with her friend. We look at each other like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, right.
And I look at her brother. I'm like, "What is she doing here?" She looks at him, and what is he doing here?
Right.
You know. And then one thing leads to another. Years go by. I end up falling in love with her. I confess. Nutshells type time. I confess, she denies me. Years go by, meet each other again at Walmart, just randomly, and then we lose contact again. Years later, somehow we get each other's phone number and email and keep in contact for a little while. Stop talking for a little while again, back to it. I moved to Corpus. She's like, "Hey, I moved back to Dallas." I'm like, "Hey, I just moved to Corpus."
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, oh well, nothing I can do about it."
Yeah.
I come back up. She's like, "Well, you were the one that got away, and well, I ended up moving back." And she's like, "We're not getting together." I'm like, "Yeah, we are." After all this, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And here we are today.
How long you been married?
7 years together.
Y'all spent a lot of time avoiding each other before you you actually got together.
Yeah.
That's some work. That's some work. Well, congratulations on that, man.
Thank you. One thing that really got your name going was the Dallas Observer article. How did that come about?
Yes. Wow. I haven't thought about that in quite a while. You do your homework. Good. So that was actually through another artist that's no longer in the area by the name of Madam Mims. And she was making a lot of noise at the time, and she was affiliated with me and Lewis. And we had seen her around, and we all became like really cool with each other. And she seen me perform and whatnot. And this was before tech support came out. I was just kind of building myself. Well, tech support drops and it blows up. And people who are nerds, people who are not nerds, started loving this because a lot of these people had never heard video game raps before. Right. I was their first introduction to it, which is weird because myself, I knew several artists that had laid the groundwork. Right. I was just kind of the latest in the line, right? So anyway, she said she does this post on Facebook and says, y'all, I got this song. I can't tell y'all what this song is, but this song is crazy, crazy dope. And people are like, yo, what's up? So the video she posts ends up getting like maybe a couple thousand views. A lot of people are looking and wondering, who the hell is this artist? Well, she said, y'all, here's a song. Bounce to the Mario, bounce to the Metroid, bounce. And I went, whoa, oh my God. It's my song? And she's like, man, it's Ode to the Retro. She said, Tech, I listened to your first 4 tracks, but when I heard that 5th track, Ode to the Retro, it was just out of this world. And then it was produced by this dude named Big Hub. And well, this guy from the Observer was a friend of hers and had written her up several times in the Observer. He contacts us, hey, who is this person, TekForce? And let me link you up. So she shoots me a message, says, hey, this dude wants to interview you and Hub for your song. I said, wait a minute. He wants to interview me to be in the Dallas Observer? And I was like, oh my God, I'm bugging out, right? I think this is pretty close to the end of 2015. I think this happened. So we go downtown and he interviews us. And sure enough, if you go and check on Dallas Observer, there's an article with a picture of tech support. It's one of my crowning achievements. And he's writing about the album. And the interview is there and it's about me and him. And yeah, man, it was dope. It was it helped my stock as far as getting me through the doors and a lot of conventions to perform when people could see like, oh, this guy's been written in the paper. So
right, he's actually a name.
He's actually trying to do something and not just talking about it. Because man, back then I was going super duper hard. Every chance I could perform, every con I could submit to, I was just trying to lay the groundwork. And I'm not saying I'm not a big name, but now plenty of people in the area in the Metroplex know who I am, and some folks that are in different states know who I am.
Right. Matter of fact, someone in Memphis just found out who you were.
Really?
Yeah, I just pointed them to you.
Well, awesome, man. Well, thank you for that.
No problem.
No, you know what?
If I like it, I'm going to spread the word. That's one reason why I asked you on the podcast.
Well, and thank you for that, dude. Because I've been doing a lot more lately because I put it out Unify recently, and people wanted to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and talk about the song and how I came up with it and stuff. And it's been leading to more and more interviews, which is great because I ain't doing nothing but sitting in this house, in this apartment. I ain't doing nothing here, man, but just trying to stay safe during this coronavirus. You know what I mean?
But that's good that you're getting a lot more press, though.
Yeah, man. Well, it's cool because it leads me to get people ready for the Child of the 80s album.
Right.
Before you release any project, you want people on board with what you're doing and getting them kind of ready for it. And honestly, I don't know how many more years I'm gonna be doing albums. Hell, I think I probably got 2 more in me. And then I'm gonna probably lay the mic down. But we'll see. I mean, hell, it might be 5 more. I'll be putting my false teeth in. And like, y'all ready?
Could be.
Bounce to the Metroid. Just fall
You
asleep.
never know. I mean, look at Ozzy. He's done how many? No more tours?
Right.
And
This
Kiss,
is my last one. This is my last tour.
Yeah,
I
Kiss
haven't won this week. Yeah.
Kiss has done their farewell tours like 6 times and still doing their last farewell tour for the past 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And that look, them dudes, there's too much money to be made.
Oh yeah.
It's too much money to keep in.
You know how much a Kiss shirt was? Just a t-shirt.
How much?
At the concert. $75.
For the t-shirt?
T-shirt.
Was it signed by Gene Simmons?
No.
It wasn't?
No.
Well, I'll be damned. Does he sit next to you? Was he selling the shirt and you take a picture with him?
No.
That might be worth $75. But
I might pay $75 for that too. But just it was just $75 and people were selling, and they were selling out. I'm like,
that's
I like
amazing.
Kiss, but I don't like them that much.
Well, see, so Gene Simmons was one of the forefathers of really merchandising and learning how to use your merchandising to make everybody. He's made them a ton of money.
Oh,
as a group.
It's because of him. They've got.
It's him.
There. Yes.
Because he looked at it as a business. He says, yes, we have talent. Yes, I like performing, but I like to stay paid.
But we have a name. We have a brand.
And your brand is something you could take all across the world, which he has. So
with weird products like a Kiss coffin.
Sales.
Yeah.
Sales. People are buying it, right? Kiss, Kiss coffee makers and koozies and detergent and whatever.
Back in the 90s when I'd see them at like Spencer's Gifts and stuff, like the little lamppost, I'm like, that's cool, But now it's like Kiss everywhere. I mean, that man is a smart marketing person. I mean,
he always has been.
Past him.
Yeah, he always has been. Just to sit down with him and talk for a minute and pick his brain on how to expand your brand would be amazing. Yes, because I bet he'll give you some stuff that you'll take for the rest of your days.
And he will treat you like it's business, and he's going to give you the straight facts, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't sugarcoat shit.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Look, you need to change your look. It's not working for you."
Yeah.
This is not change it. Get a nice suit. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. He'll be straightforward.
Right.
If he's like, your hair red, no, lose it.
Yeah.
Dye it blue or something. If he actually told me to dye my beard blue, I might think about it.
I mean, he knows.
Exactly.
He'd be like, that's cool. So you're a black guy that raps about video games? Okay, well, keep rapping about video games. Is it working for you? Don't try to do anything else. Then go try to contact Nintendo. Then go try to so-and-so. So he tried to tell me since I can't say I'm like a minority MC. There's plenty of people of color that rap. However,
the genre
itself has been built on mainly white dudes.
Right.
A lot of them. So what we have is not just a novelty, but it's something that can reach people outside of what we even thought it could be, which it already has.
Right.
So I think conversations with him would be something else. But yeah, man, I mean, I think that's a big part of music anyway, though, is the business side, and that's what a lot of artists fail.
Right.
I even think myself, I haven't utilized the business aspect of what it is I do as good as I could. So.
Right. Matter of fact, one of the podcasts that I listen to, he always stressed it's show business. There's 2 words, show and business. Business is twice as long because that's most of the business. It's mainly a business.
Right.
Half a part of show, but it's all business.
That's it. And the people that understand that or have someone around, like Ozzy is successful because of his wife.
Yes. And she knew that right away. And he knew that what she was doing was getting him bigger and better at what they were doing.
That's it. That's why they've been together forever, because when you have someone that she does see your benefit, and she loves him, obviously.
Right.
But she knows what she got to. She's like, man, your name says everything. Black Sabbath is nothing without you.
Right.
So even by yourself, you can make money. Let's build this up. Then they end up getting a damn reality show.
Right. And then making up this Wade talks. But hey, that's business. That's show. I mean, first of all, it was a drama reality show.
Yeah.
Reality show.
Right.
I mean, you got to look at it. They're not going to just have cameras there mic'd up. They're not going to be mic'd up from right off the bat from waking up and stuff. And,
No.
I'm just pulling up to my friend's house, but yet there's cameras already inside. You know, it's all a show. It's
all a show, man. But you know, it was so interesting too, is I wonder how things have changed with this pandemic, because there's one of my favorite artists, Odyssey, came out with an album. Hip hop artist, and he's pretty reputable guy, and consistently good as far as his subject matter and his albums and movement. Well, his newest album is interesting because it consists of songs, and they have different range of topics, but the meat of the album is his conversations with his family. So throughout the album, at the beginning, he's talking like to his dad, and it's about a minute or something long. Dad, how you doing during this? Talk to his cousin, his mom, uncles, whoever. Right. But I think it was such a great personal choice to have something so relatable as what we deal with on a daily basis. We're talking to our moms and our dads, and we're talking to the people we care about to see how we're doing in order to give us the strength to keep moving.
The Video Game Museum.
Yeah.
I actually haven't heard back from them, but what's your thoughts on how that is about an actual video game museum? What's that like since you've played there, been there?
Man, I was there when it opened.
I wanted to be there that night.
I actually hosted it that night.
I think I remember seeing the flyer for that.
So, yeah, those guys over there, man, are great guys. And I haven't talked to them in several months since this. I think the last time I reached out was to John, one of the owners, to say, hey, how you doing all right? And he said, yeah, we're doing all right. We're just hanging in there. And they recently opened. But the way that I got aligned with them, I think, did I talk to you about this? I don't know if I did. So about, I guess, because have they been open 5 years or 4 years? So a little bit after a little bit after tech support got released, I remember looking online and seeing, because I lived in Frisco at the time, I think the Dallas Morning News did a report on this new video game museum that was opening. So my eyes lit up like Christmas, like, oh God, for real. So I saw the link and went there, and on the link they had, it was bare bones back then. Obviously, got it fleshed out. It's been 4 years, but back then this is what's coming, and we're coming soon. But on the contact page, they were asking for volunteers, and of course, I submitted. I live 5 minutes from there, and went there and met this great guy, Joe. Still one of the owners, but he now lives, I think, in Maryland. And I started working there on the weekends as a volunteer. Now, the first few weekends I worked was like when they were having, it hadn't officially opened, and they just had like the city of Frisco council members there so they could see it, and everybody come in and check it out. All these people, these important folks.
Right, kind of like a soft open for the big wigs.
Soft open for the big wigs, right? So in the midst of me doing that, I got to know Joe a bit more, and they were talking about the opening. I said, well, Joe, I do hip hop, man, but I also host. Here's my CD. So he's like, okay, whatever. I kept talking to him about it. And he said, I'm not too much into hip hop like that, but I go listen to your stuff. And he listened to it, said, I like your stuff, man. Your stuff is, like I said, I'm not too into hip hop, but I like this. I like your content. You're talking about the stuff we love. So I built a relationship with him. And next thing I know, he's like, hey, we need to find a host. I said, well, look, I'll host. You don't have to pay me for anything. And I got a DJ to come out and do it for free. This is the video game museum. It's got to be big. We got to make sure it happens. Good for y'all. So had my good friends come out, DJ CJ, and she came out, brought her equipment, and set up, dude. And we hosted about 3,500 people. From the time it opened and ran through. I'm running around with a wireless mic. I got to perform a little bit. We had like a karaoke thing we did. It was amazing. I was so tired, but it was great. It was a great feeling. And that built the way for me to end up doing 2 more private parties for them where I got paid.
Oh, nice.
I actually got paid for those. So I worked that into my life cycle entertainment business, man, and then ended up selling my CD in the stores, which sold out. Well, of course, It was 4 years ago, but it sold out. Right. Tech support did really well in the stores. And yeah, man, so that's where I want to have my Child of the 80s release party.
Okay. Did they have the actual arcade when they opened up, or was that later on?
No, the arcade was there.
Okay.
So yeah, so that will open at the same exact time.
My favorite part is the places where it's got the setups from the old looks of the bedrooms,
like the 80s.
Yeah, the 70s
teenager in the 70s one, and they have It's the attention to detail took me back, right?
Right. I saw that. I was like, holy shit.
I just went back in time. Yeah.
And the amount of detail that they I was like, okay, they probably didn't put anything in the drawers.
Yeah.
I opened up the drawers. There was shit in the drawers from the 80s. I'm like, holy crap.
Tiger Beat magazine, computer games. Nintendo Power, right. I'm like, shit, I wish went back in time, man. They actually ended up shooting a video to some band there, too.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Some Denton group that's making it big shot a video at the Video Game Museum and used that section. Because I had come in one time and then they told me that, so yeah, we just had a video shoot there. I said, well, hell, can I do that too? Let me do that. Y'all know me. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So when's your video shoot?
That's a good question. So the next video I'd like to shoot for would be Move, because I really want to have an environment where we got people dressed in Kango hats and gold chains. And if I'm a child of the 80s, we're going to take it back to the 80s.
Right.
To where folks are popping and locking and stuff. When things get better, right now we can't do fat gold chains. Right.
Oh, yeah. So that's rope chains. Oh, yeah.
That's what I want for the video, man. Another place to do it. There's past downtown Dallas, there's a graffiti area.
I've heard of this place.
I've been there before because I went there for an event, but it was perfect. Inside these buildings, they got graffiti all over the walls. But I thought, man, this is great because nothing is more hip hop than that.
Right.
So we'll see, man. Like I said, I'm just like everybody else. I'm taking my time. What I can do, obviously, is work on my album, man, and get it where it needs to be.
Right. Well, when that video comes up, I can throw my hat in there for the director.
Oh, so have you directed videos before?
I've done a little bit of directing. I've actually got I directed 3 little shots that were going on people's acting reels.
Okay.
And I've been trying to direct more, but with everything going on, this isn't doing much.
Yeah.
And then I started writing. I got a web series done that I'm trying to get. I was working on to get a networking event going and all that, and kind of build up to where I can get that going. And then, well, this happened. I was starting to get prices and trying to save up money and everything, and then there's no way I can do a networking event right now.
Yeah, it's sad, man. Well, I was going to have Child of the 80s. The Child of the 80s show was going to be in April. I wasn't even finished with the album. It was February. I was getting stressed out. And ended up like I got 2 months out, and I just jumped the gun. I got so excited, I set it out 2 months. So the pandemic even though it's terrible, it helped in me realizing, like, man, you're not ready to put out. Not only is it not good for a bunch of people to be in one place, but your album is not done. You need more time to finish it.
Right.
So it's actually a blessing kind of in that way.
Yeah, sometimes little tweaks come in like, whoa, I'm glad this happened in a way.
Right.
You know?
At least in that aspect, yeah.
It showed me something I didn't really want to see, or I didn't see, but I'm glad I saw it.
Right.
But sorry, it had to go this way.
You know, and no artist wants to put out a half-ass project. Like I don't want people to think, well, man, he kind of dialed it in. Whenever I do my albums, I try to put all in. Because, you know, these people, whether they purchase it or they listen on Spotify or whatever, they're taking their time to listen to you.
Right.
And you got that one shot to grab their ears. So if you don't have something to grab their ears, they're going to skip past you. We're in a very right now kind of world. So.
Oh, my God. Compared to the 80s? Yeah.
Right.
Because back then you couldn't just skip the next song. You had to fast forward, stop, play. Nope, didn't pass it. Still in it. Stop, fast forward.
See, yeah, you know, exactly. we didn't have the same luxuries as these kids have.
No,
they got all these albums at the the touch of the fingertip. Man, they can do that and hear albums that came out 50, 60 years ago if they wanted to, and obscure stuff that you had to go to record stores to see if they had a special order for you.
Right. Or go to places like Bill's Records to where you get the hard to find stuff to where he like gets stuff from overseas that they didn't even have over here.
They didn't have, because, with artists, including like Ozzy, they'll do a international release.
Right.
Where it's got songs you'll never get over here because they just do it for. A lot of times they got more rabid fans overseas.
Right.
And they'll have a Japanese release with like 4 cuts that you'll never see. I always thought that sucked, but I mean, I kind of get it.
Right. Yeah. I had a Faith No More one like that. They finally brought it out to the US and they called it Songs to Make Love To. And it was only like 4 tracks, 4 to 6 tracks. Once they sold out, that was it. Couldn't get them anywhere. They had just a limited amount. Next thing I know, I found a CD of it at Bill's, and it had it was one of those ones that had remember the bins where it went around and it had the Japanese lettering going down?
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I know where you got this from.
Absolutely.
And now
they have that.
And now on Spotify, they just put it all out there.
Yeah. Well, they do, and that's the beautiful thing about it, man, is because and I'm gonna tell you this, over Spotify, the one place you can find hard to find songs is YouTube.
Yes.
It's amazingly deep how far that rabbit hole goes. When you're trying to look for something that was obscure, they got it.
And then
somebody got it.
You didn't even know about.
Right. So even deeper than Spotify is YouTube, because YouTube doesn't have the same restrictions as Spotify has, because they make a lot of deals obviously with the record companies, and YouTube does too, but it's more fan centric and more people centric. Right. So somebody can upload, this is the Cowboy Bebop remix, that Yoko Kano did with Miles Davis or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Something you'll never find on your own. So which would be cool, wouldn't it though? Yoko Kano and Miles Davis, that'd be phenomenal.
Oh man, that'd
be amazing.
Right? That'd be a jam. I'd jam out to that.
Right. Like if those 2 powerhouses, man. But my point is that's obviously the way to go, man. And I don't know. I just hope we can get back to a point where I can perform again. I miss performing, man. I do.
Yeah. I mean, there are people like Christopher Titus. He's figured out a way to do something like that. He started up
from home.
Yeah, well, he started like a Combustion Live Studios type thing where only a certain few get in. Yeah. And they're socially distant, wearing masks, everything's cleaned up, sprayed down before the show. Right. That way it's all clean when they come to do the show. For sure. And then the rest of the tickets are sold online. And they do a live streaming, and they only do it for 24 hours. And then they take it down. because
it's fantastic.
That way, if the people can't get to it within the live time, they can still watch it within that 24-hour period.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I haven't heard anybody be doing that, and that's actually a really good idea.
That's a fantastic idea, and I think that's where a lot of artists are heading. A lot of people have asked me about, Tech, why don't you do a live show? And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it like that, but honestly, we might not have a damn choice for a while.
Yeah. I mean, the mass thing I hear is going to be here for years, from what I hear.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's, hell, I mean, we just, a new virus has been introduced in is it 40 million people in the U.S.? How many million people are in the U.S.? Is it 100 million?
I'm not exactly sure.
How many people live in the U.S.? Well, I mean, I'm on my computer. Why not?
Right?
Man, I was way off. It's 328 million people as of 2019 live here.
Lived.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's been some major changes because that numbers probably went down, obviously, from natural deaths and whatever occurs in that time. But still, let's say at the low end, we're 299, let's say even 315 million. That's still a ton.
Exactly. I mean,
so that means that's going to spread and spread and spread and spread.
Exactly. It's just going to get worse. And when they opened up, I knew it was going to get worse out here.
Everybody did.
And it's sad that we're now the laughing joke of everywhere. And we're kind of like linked to Florida kind of on how the idiotness of the opening up way too early and not paying attention to actually what we need to do.
Texas is.
Oh, I feel so bad.
Texas is right here.
Yeah.
Opening up before we need to, and now we don't know if we can contain what's been unleashed.
It's gonna take a lot to contain it.
Yeah. Obviously wearing masks is one thing you can do. Keeping distant is one thing. I think if everybody literally stayed inside and did like we did at the beginning of the pandemic, we see the numbers do like this.
Yeah.
However, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not. It's just going to get worse.
So I don't mean for the conversation to go dark like that, but
so your thoughts on the MCU?
Right. Let's change the subject. So which phase?
The one that just ended. How'd you like to end?
Phase 4, right? It's phase 4.
I think phase 4 just ended with the Spider-Man one. Yeah.
I think it capped off nicely, man. I feel like, them killing off Iron Man. And I don't know if that's something that Robert Downey Jr. wanted or Marvel wanted. I want to think the former. But it was sad. Like, it's crazy because Iron Man didn't actually kick off the Marvel universe like a lot of people think, and Fantastic Four didn't kick it off. Or not X-Men didn't kick it off, but it was Blade that kicked it off.
Yes.
And he started the whole that started the whole thing. Why he wasn't utilized, it's anybody's guess. But as far as phase 4 goes, I loved it, man. I think they kept going strength to strength. Like, not every movie was a powerhouse. Like, first Iron Man is great. 2 and 3,
it got worse.
They got worse. Captain America started out dope. Winter Soldier was amazing.
Right.
Civil War was amazing. So if that just happened with Chris Evans and it ended, it'd have been fantastic. But then it went to, before that was, I guess, the Thor movies. Oh. So which Thor is your favorite out of the 3?
I bet you know which one was my favorite. I mean, it's everybody's favorite.
Ragnarok.
Right. But I was so excited about Thor because my nickname was Loki. And I got it from the comics. So
Yeah.
And then when Thor came out, I was like, oh, this is a bad movie.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed. And then Thor 2 came out. People hated it. I was like, it's better.
Really? Did you think? I didn't think the Dark World was better. I liked the first one more.
Well, I looked at it like, well, one, they got rid of the blonde eyebrows.
Yeah.
The acting was better because he
Yeah.
didn't try to do it all Shakespearean like.
Yeah.
But so I thought it was better than that. So I looked at it, okay, it's a positive.
Yeah.
So and then 3 was it just went with 3 because of Taika Waititi. He finally pulled out what was actually there.
He did, and people don't. That dude is a good comic actor, because people were talking about he was one of the best parts of the female Ghostbusters.
Even though he was a
one
dumbass, and I hated that part of it. But some of the stuff he did was
he nailed it,
phenomenal.
Right? Yeah. So he nailed it, and I think in Ragnarok, I know 90% of the movie was improv. At least 80 to 90% was like just do what you do. Just try to act out the scene as best. Like they had tidbits of a script, but he allowed them to just go off. And then that's why some of the scenes is like, oh, blah, 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 this and that. Well, I'll do this to you. No, I'll do this to you. It's like some Laura Hardy or like some improv act.
Right.
But it worked for the movie because you could tell everybody's having a blast.
Like that Get Help scene. We're going to do Get Help. We're not doing Get Help.
Right. We're not doing Get Help.
Matter of fact, I want to say that was one of the improv scenes. I could be wrong, but I want to say that was one of them.
It was. Well, and that just goes off of the years of them working with each other. So out of the Avengers movies, which one would you say is your favorite?
Out of the Avengers? Oh, man. Including the last 2, I'd probably have to say I liked Infinity War.
Okay.
That was one of the ones because it took me by surprise. I knew people were dying.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect that.
Yeah.
It's like I was mentally prepared, but it still took me like what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's I think everybody my favorite Avengers one.
It was a shocking movie because nobody expected the people to die that did.
Or that many people to die.
Or that many people died. So you walked out the theater and you I remember people said they were crying when they left. I think I shed some tears. I was like, I can't believe.
I know I shed some tears. It was me, my wife, my son, and my son's girlfriend at the time. We all going, all right, you ready? Yeah. All hyped up. We come out like...
Right.
And normally we talk after a movie. We just we didn't even talk. We just walked to the car.
Right. You just like, walk. Right. I remember that feeling because I saw it with my son. I'm like, son, what we just watched? There's a mass murder. So, like Thanos is terrible. He was a terrible villain.
Oh yeah.
And I remember looking up and I saw that they're thinking about bringing him back down the line in some way.
I heard they're thinking about bringing back a young Thanos, like young.
Huh.
And well, I want to say that was going to be in the Eternals movie.
Yeah. Right. You want to say hi, Ray? My daughter's right here.
How's it going?
It is live. He's recording. She's saying, "Okay, bye," because you're recording. When you come over here, you don't know what you're gonna get. Your dad is high in demand as the no star he is.
We're trying to help it get better, get that star higher up in the sky.
You know what, man? I am glad that I am healthy, that I have a job, my kids are safe, my family, friends are safe. I'm good with that right now, man. If I can keep living. At this point, I'm straight. And the older you get, man, the more because I remember when I first started, even before I was kind of out as TekForce, I was like, man, I gotta push hard to make it. I want to make it. If I keep pushing, I'll make it. And here I sit almost at 45 years old. And I don't know how important that is to me anymore. Like, my most important thing is to put out my catalog of good music so that people can listen to me after I'm gone.
Right. Just do something that you enjoy. Not worry about making it. Just enjoy what you're making.
Enjoy what you're making, man. That's a key. A lot of people get successful like that, just doing music and making the right moves. And trust me, I'd like to be well off on music and well off on having my songs featured in movies and whatnot, man. But a lot of times it takes years for that to happen. It's not overnight.
No, not like people think.
It's not overnight, man. Some people don't get discovered in the first, month they've been doing something. Some people get discovered later on.
And even though it seems like the first month, they've been doing it for years before that. It may have just been the right moment, the right time. Like they say, luck is opportunity meets preparedness.
Yeah, man. So I know my catalog of music stands up, and it may not be what the kids are doing and what they're listening to, but I do have an audience, and it's people like you that are my age, and even some of the young kids, like
my
DJ.
son actually likes a few of your tracks. So,
dope, man.
And he's 20.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, tell him I appreciate listening. I saw a video from DJ Kawan, the guy that's on that mixtape you mentioned in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
His son, Kingston, is like 5-6 years old. But he showed me a video of Kingston dancing, talking about, move out the way. Me and my dude, we don't play. His little boy, he's still singing the song. And he's been listening to that song for almost a year. And that's great because I'm like, all right, I make stuff that, the grown folks like and the kids like too. That's cool for me.
What's that word called? Multi-generational. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
I got 2 new subscribers today. My daughter tells me I got 2 new subscribers on YouTube. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
So they can add. So I only have 2 now.
Nice.
Because I had 0 before. No, I'm just joking.
You never know when this comes out in August. You never know how much you might have. You might have 3.
You know what? You got to shoot for the stars.
Exactly. Go for 4.
Right. Shoot for the moon. Leave you miss. You still be one of the stars.
If you run out of fuel on the way there, you still got a star to land on.
Right. If I monetize, I can get 0.0003 cents.
Every time.
Every time. And in 20 years,
20 years, you'll hit the moon.
It's so funny, man. It's the truth. So it's so funny, man. Like I'm on this site called DistroKid, and obviously it's where you can go and you pay like $20 a year, or maybe 30, to have them put your music on Spotify and iTunes and all these sites, right?
Right.
So it's funny. They barely pay enough on any streaming sites anyway. So I'll have like my song on there, and the way they do it is quarterly. So every 3 months they'll put together how much your music is made, how much is sold, and whatnot, pay you a portion. And that's where I think every 3 months I've made like $4 or $5, and I'm happy.
I want to say I heard that every 1,000 or 100,000 plays you get a penny, something like that.
No, you get more than that.
Oh, okay.
10,000 plays, you get more than that. So you might get, I don't know, $30.
Okay.
10,000 plays, but it's pennies on the dollar.
Right. Yeah.
That you get
nowhere near what artists should get.
Yeah.
And that's the gripe that they have now with the streaming services and everything. But there's always going to be things to where you're going to lose. That's why you got to come up with like what Lucas has done, and who we were just talking about with Gene Simmons, with all your extra stuff to earn your money from.
Yeah.
All the ancillary products.
Yeah, I got a TekForce store on Redbubble. where I got Child of the 80s posters and koozies and notepads. All that stuff is on there.
Well, send me a link to it and I'll put it in the podcast.
Word up. Appreciate it.
That way they'll know where to go to get some stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's dope. I'd appreciate it. I'm luckily about to link up with some people to get more designs going and get some t-shirts out there for folks to buy and be more on that. I honestly haven't really been on it as much because I've been so focused on getting my A+ certification.
Okay. For what?
So I do help desk. So not only is my album named Tech Support, I actually do it for real. My first album. It's art imitating life, and 5 years later,
Redheaded Stepchild.
Right. Art imitating life.
Exactly.
So the A+ is kind of like the basic certification that you can get in IT.
Okay.
And it's the one that opens up doors for you. Most people have it, but I don't. And my job was like, hey, you need to get that. So they offered to pay for it.
Oh, okay. That's even better.
There's 2 tests. I passed the first one, and I'm gearing up for the second one to take at the end of next month.
Well, good luck.
Thank you, man.
I'm sure you'll do good.
It's grown-up steps that have nothing to do with music.
Nope.
And nothing to do with music.
Is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah, for sure, man. Go get Unify. That's the latest single. It is talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. And I wrote it after attending a couple of marches myself and what I felt, and I wanted to put into words and something to help the movement. And you can get it at tekforce1.bandcamp.com along with my other albums. TekForce, Tech Support, Server Crash Part 1, the Bits and Bytes EP, which you need to listen to when we get off.
I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, and Unify. And the Child of the 80s album I'm working on right now. So I'd love to give you a release date. When it's done, it's done.
Once you get one, shoot it to us and we'll send it out to everybody.
For sure.
We'll put it out on our social media too.
I'll make sure. Can you tell him something? What do you want to tell him? No, baby, this is not the time. Why do you want to do something about Thailand and spending money? Why are you giving me fun facts on my interview? When he interview you, you can get all the fun facts you want to pour into the episode, and he'll listen. I can't believe she did that. My kid. That's my child. I'm sorry. Y'all, this is TekForce for real. The TekForce reality show begins right now. So, yeah, man, other than that, I'll shoot you some music. As a matter of fact, I'll shoot you some of the stuff I've been working on for the album. You can let me know what you think.
Definitely. I can definitely do that.
I appreciate
I'll definitely give you my 100% honesty.
Yeah, man. You can't tell me if it sucks. Be like, hey, Tech. You need to go back to tech support, man. Just do a part 2 of that, because what you're doing now is not cool.
That's one thing my wife doesn't like about me sometimes. She says, sometimes you're just too honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how are they going to know if I don't say something?
Right. Well, no, but as an artist, dude, we kind of thrive off of people being for real with us, because unfortunately we get a lot of folks that say, hey, yeah, that's dope, man. But it's not, they don't really believe it is. They're just jumping on the bandwagon. So if you tell me that maybe this can be tweaked, or I like this song better than this song, and that's why, that's dope. Luckily, I work really hard on my music, man. So I don't hear it a lot.
Right.
As far as it sucks, if I heard it sucks, obviously I gotta retweak it. But I take this stuff too seriously, man. It's my heart, man. So I try not to make so.
And I know people that, like, I've always been truthful. Like I've said, like, I think I actually made a friend of mine mad because I was truthful about his music one time, because he does horrorcore rap. And I'm like, dude, you're good at a horrorcore rap, but you're so much better if you just do straight rap.
Right.
I mean, like, he was amazing as a straight rapper. Just not talking about the horrorcore stuff, just doing real rap. And he was great at it. And kind of like after that, we kind of fell out and stopped talking and all that. But I mean, that's the type of person that I am. I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah. Right.
It's just how I was brought up.
Well, you either keep people around you that are going to lie to you, or you'll keep people around that tell you the truth.
Right.
So you'll find really quickly the people that lie to you, because you'll fall into something and be like, oh man, well, I saw that. Well, why didn't you tell me you saw this before?
Right.
So I could have avoided it, and I thought you were my friend. So be that person.
Exactly. Always say something, even if you think it might hurt, especially if it's artists asking for your opinion.
Yeah, man.
If they're asking for your opinion, give them your opinion. Don't just say what they think you want to hear.
Right.
Treat it like a girl. Don't tell them what you think they want to hear.
Because it'll come back on you, and sometimes almost killed.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
I got trapped with a fake pregnancy.
Oh, man.
Because that's when I learned my lesson on that one. Telling the girl what they want to hear.
You got to. And also, you have to be very selective about who you get with too, because not everybody's right for you. Exactly. You ain't right for everybody. That's a life lesson TekForce has learned in this 40-something years of living, man. But I'm glad you're doing well, man. I'm glad you're staying safe, and I'm glad you and your wife and your son and everybody around you doing good, bro.
Same here, man. You take care. I'm glad your family's doing well. I'm glad your daughter's got a worthy cause.
She watches YouTube, dude, and I just don't. Did you know that the African elephant can retain water for 25 days? And it's fun fact after fun fact. I'm like, I don't get mad, because I want her to be intelligent. I want her to grow and be somebody that has that knowledge and can. But I got to stop her sometimes. I'm like, girl, look here, you hit me with 25 facts in 30 seconds. I need you to slow it down. Daddy can't process all that.
It'd be nice. My son, he comes to me, hey, did you know they're coming out with this new game? It's going to be doing this, this, and this. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
Don't you know about this other stuff too?
Yeah.
Like, my son is so involved in games and stuff, and that's one of the reasons why he likes some of your stuff.
Yeah.
He even knows about the Konami code and everything.
Well, man, that Level Up, dude, until Ode to the Retro came out, was my most popular song. Level Up was it. Then I came out with Ode to the Retro, and people was like, level up what? Because whatever this is doper. Which is cool. It was so funny. So, SDF1.
Right.
From the Tech Support album. It's still like
I was going to ask you a question about that. What does that stand for? I know that's from an anime, but what's that stand for? And I got another anime question for you. So that one first.
No, I thought this thing was ending. Not messing with you. So it's called Super Dimensional Fortress 1.
Oh, okay.
And it's based on Macross, aka Robotech, that came out in the 80s.
I remember Robotech.
And the SDF1 is the main center point of the show, obviously, because they're on the ship, Rick Hunter, Lisa Hayes, Roy Fokker. And I wanted to make a song talking about how much I loved it, but I wanted to do it from Rick's perspective.
Okay.
He's on this ship and he's going through a lot, but he's also like, I'm a badass. So let me tell my story, how my brother died. And it ended up having like some younger folks go and look for it and go watch it, which I thought was dope, because that's what I wanted. I wanted kids don't understand how much dope stuff we had in the 80s.
Oh God.
That's why they're looking back. If you look at your son is watching old stuff, because our time was when it was created.
Right. He's told me he was born in the wrong era. He needed to be born in our era.
See, that time, brand new stuff was created, brand new musical genres that changed society even now. So I love that kids want to go back. I had somebody, and it was so funny. So I was at work, and I stopped running my mouth. I was at work, and there's this younger receptionist there, and we talk about old stuff. She says, you know, I used to watch Family Matters and I watch 80s stuff. And I was like, why do y'all, you know, it seems like the newer generation is really obsessed with the 80s. And she said, well, that was an authentic, everything now is manufactured from the past. But y'all live in a generation where it actually happened. And it put things in perspective for me. It's like, you're right. That makes sense.
It's almost kind of like what my son says to me. Not along the same lines, but something along that line.
Right. It's like, real. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't think about it because we lived in it.
He was like, they had more heart back then. I'm like, but you don't do what we did back then. You stay in.
Right. Make your own heart. Exactly. But, you know, they'll get it. But what was your second question?
The second question was, and then I'll let you go. That'll be the last one. I can't remember what it was, but it went like they had a part in it that would go, we're off in outer space to save the human race. That's all I remember. That's all I remember.
Okay. Star Blazer.
I think that's it.
Star Blazers.
I think that's it.
That's what you're talking about, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Star Blazers. Okay, I'm going to have to watch that again now.
Because when you mentioned that, my older brother used to watch it like religiously, and I used to sit there and watch it with him. He loved that show.
I remember last time I heard something of that was when I was in 9th grade. A friend got the VHS box set of it.
Star Blazers? Yeah. Dude, and it was like one of the first animated to come to America.
And he was like, you remember this show? Do you know this show? I was like, name doesn't sound really all that familiar. And then he said that, and I was like, I know that movie, or I know that show.
Because that theme song was iconic, right?
Yeah.
You may not know the show, but you know that theme song.
Exactly.
Because it was like 12 minutes long.
Right.
I think the theme song was 15 minutes, and you had 15 minutes of show with commercials. So,
they just did what they had to do to make it over here. I'm sure they just had they had so many episodes to work with from bringing it to over here.
Yeah.
They just had to do something to get it to have so many more.
Right. That's true. Well, I mean, the main thing, cartoons were advertisements. That's all they were, advertisements for the merchandise. That's all they looked at. Because I know you've watched the Toys That Made Us.
Oh, yeah. All of them.
That's the one thing they keep saying. It says, look, we didn't really care about these products. No. I mean, the cartoon, we just cared about you, buying the toys.
The cartoon was something that came along way after the thought. Like the He-Man. They didn't make that. That was something that was thought of. Okay, I'm gonna mold this. Okay, so what are y'all using to sell this? Oh, didn't we tell you? We got this cartoon we're doing. Hey, we need to make a cartoon.
Right. Right. And it makes it devalues it in a way for you, but we look at stuff through rose tinted glasses.
Right.
So the way we look at it is through our 7-year-old eyes when everything is in business.
Right.
Everything that's come out ain't done, it was done for a higher financial purpose. However, we benefited from it, like Transformers.
Right.
We came home from school and Optimus Prime taught us life lessons. So you kids, you got to make sure you do the right thing all the time. He's giving you that, but that was our pseudo parenting. When our parents weren't there,
right?
Those characters were trying to lead us on the right path, and we didn't always listen, but we had that. That's the last.
Like with the G.I. Joe, they do the show, and then they'd have this like lesson learning thing, and now G.I. Joe.
Right. Knowing is half the battle.
The battle. G.I. Joe.
Right. Talking about don't do drugs. Treat everybody right. Because you know what? I remember they were saying they had to put those in because they wouldn't let them have the amount of violence they had.
Right.
In one episode without having that PSA at the end. They couldn't have got away with it. That's the reason why they had those. They didn't want to. They wanted to sell toys, but they said, look, the what is it? What is it? The censor, what is it? FCC said we can't have this show unless we put on the end something that these kids can learn, an educational lesson.
Right.
So that's what got them like 3 seasons or 4 seasons, because it'd be a little kid falling off a bike and someone laughing. Hey, we don't laugh at people falling off bikes.
And then for some reason it caught on and other shows started doing it.
Right. Because shows didn't do that before G.I. Joe.
Nuh-uh.
They started it off. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say even Plastic Man did it.
Right.
Who was it? Transformers did it.
Jim
Thundercats.
Jim did it. Thundercats did it. Yeah. They had to have that lesson or they couldn't be beating people up. Beating people up for like 20 minutes.
And they couldn't show blood then. Now they can show blood.
Oh my God.
Without a PSA.
Dude, well, you know, the game has changed because we have paid TV.
Yes.
And paid streaming services, and those rules are not the same. When you pay for something, that means you can get away with a lot more because you spent money on it.
And I remember that came out, them little boxes click, 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 click.
Right.
All 99.
Oh my God. My grandmother had that. Click, 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 click. Turn on 34. Turn on my stories. She always called her soap operas her stories. So I had to turn that on for her, man. There was going to be some problems.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you go.
Yes. I know we've been running our mouths, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you.
No problem.
You, man, for talking with me and stuff. It's been a pleasure, dude. And Aaron, you're a good dude, man.
You're good too, man. I'm glad that I got to meet you the time that I met you. And thanks for coming on to the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
No problem, man. Take care. Have a good night, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.